All right, we're back in the kitchen. This is early January 2021, and we're making a dal today. So, a dal is usually in Indian cuisine, though it's a lentil. Dal can be lentil, and dal can be the dish, DAL. And there's different variations depending on the region of India. We're going to do a very basic one today that at least allows you to see the flavor development that happens in this dish. So, we're going to use gram masala, which I'll show you how to make that too. And it's the power of spice blends and using ethnic foods, ethnic dishes for inspiration as well as flavor development. So we don't have to add a bunch of extra fat or calories, but we get flavor from the spice. So you're going to enjoy this one. All right, so I'm going to start with the spice blend. So I love spice blends because they can add such flavor and they pack a punch. So all of a sudden you're getting tons of different umami almost in your mouth. So a little bit of sweet and savory and maybe even a bitter and salty or a little bit of spice. So this is gram masala. I made this one. There's variations of it. You could buy it. You can also make it your own. So I put a little bit of coriander, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg. What else did I have in there? A little pepper and cloves. Though you'll see some that have maybe fennel or a little bit of cumin or red chili powder. So there's a variety of different spices you can put in here. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of new ones, but once you have this, you could use it for a ton of dishes. You could put it on different proteins. You can mix it in with sauteed vegetables. You could put it in a rice or grain dish, and the color is beautiful. What I'm going to probably do today is maybe add a little bit more if I feel like it needs a little bit more flavor, but we'll see. So we'll talk about that in a second, but that's our spice blend that we made today. So for the dal, what we're going to do, and like I said, there's different variations, so I'll kind of go through that. Is we're going to saute onions, all right? In a little bit of olive oil. Now, in Indian cooking, you'll see ghee often used, which is kind of a variation of a clarified butter, Ghee. But we're going to use olive oil because that's what I have on hand. And we're going to saute the onions first. So this was just a white onion. You could use a yellow onion too. I have garlic and ginger. Okay, so you may not like ginger. Again, you don't need to add it if you don't want to. It does add a ton of flavor. And that's really what's gonna make this dish, because lentils by themselves don't have a ton of flavor. So we have to flavor them up a little bit. But they're a great plant-based protein to add to your diet. So we got the garlic and ginger. What I'm then gonna do is throw in my gram masala so that you will toast the spices a little bit. Now again, you could do this beforehand to incorporate the spices, so I could easily toast the spices first, then throw in the onions if I wanted to for even a little bit more flavor. But I'm going to add it in kind of once I have the rest of those things sauteed, just to kind of pull out some of the flavor from the spice. I also have turmeric. So you often see this in some cuisines. It gives it a yellowish hue and a little bit more flavor, so it kind of brings the dish together. I also have red pepper flakes. Now, if you're someone who doesn't really like spice, you could always take those out or add them back at the end. So I like this dish because you can play around with the flavor development. And you may have to make it a few times to make it your own. We will add probably a little bit of salt. And again, you could always wait on the salt at the end, but the salt will enhance the dish of kind of what is bland by itself, lentils, okay? So then what we'll do after we saute all that, I'll throw the tomatoes in with juice. This is just chopped tomatoes. In a can, little petite diced tomatoes. And then I'm going to throw in the lentils. These are green lentils. There's yellow, red, brown. There's so many different colors. And the lentil variety depends on comes from different regions of India as well. So we'll have to add a bunch of water. I may have to add a little bit more water too. I have about 2.5 cups here, but these are going to soak up a lot of water, almost kind of like a dried bean. Okay. So then, once that's done, you'll see that we're going to add some lovely nutrient-packed spinach to this to kind of round out the dish. Now, I've seen dal done with a variety of different vegetables. You could add cauliflower and green beans, potatoes. But what I'll do is I'll serve this over rice that I already have made, a little bit of brown rice, and then it ends up being a complete protein. So we have the lentils, and then I'll show you the rice served with it, and it becomes kind of a similar protein to what you'd get from an animal protein, all the amino acids that you need for a complete protein. So if you're thinking about doing some more plant-based, I think this is a great way to go. It's going to have a ton of flavor. Again, gram masala will be seen in a lot of Indian cuisines, and also You know, other southern Asian kind of countries as well. Afghanistan, Pakistan, to name a few, Bangladesh. So this can be where you'll see some of these dishes come with this lovely spice blend that you're gonna hopefully really enjoy. All right, so let's get started.